Our last formal speaker, and then we're going to open the floor and we're going to have some engagement, is Ridwan Samodien. So in the same way that Dion had an amazing opportunity to work with Dorian at Clutisville and Shana with Grant and Jean-Louis with Juliet, I've had the opportunity to work with Ridwan Samodien, who 10 years ago was a shy and quiet leader, and who has now become an orator of note. He's a writer, he's a speaker, he's a facilitator, he makes stuff happen, he walks around his school as if he owns that place, and it's been a beautiful transformation to observe over the last 10 years. So, and Ridwan also, there's a beautiful, his story is in chapter 4, and he has written a foreword for the new book. So Ridwan, over to you. Partner, I should say, partner, over to you.
Partner for 10 years, I say. Good afternoon, everybody. It is indeed a great pleasure and a humbling experience to be with all of you. Caring, courageous citizens. I am in awe of your passion for South Africa's children. And I'm so delighted that we share one thing, and that is that to give each and every South African clever kid a great opportunity. But partner, if you will allow me, like to say, I used to be shy, but now I found my voice. If we can just spare a moment to please think of all those who have lost their lives during the pandemic, may I ask us to just observe a tiny moment of silence as we think of those who have been left behind, the families that have been left behind. And may I ask us to honor the souls and ask the Almighty for the souls of South Africa's clever kids, South Africa's terrific teachers, South Africa's caring cleaners, South Africa's fabulous foremen, South Africa's super secretaries, South Africa's awesome administration, administrators, and most importantly, South Africa's passionate principals who have lost their lives. And I know there's some PfP principals who have lost their lives due to the pandemic. And we ask the Almighty for their souls to be rest in peace, and for the families who have been left behind to find closure and compassion and hope that this country is there for all of us. And it is what we make of this country that will propel us into the future. Secondly, partner, may I take this opportunity as the co-founder of Partners for Possibility to salute you and the amazing PFP community on the launch of the second book. And I would like to use the metaphor of Mandiba when it says when you summit a mountain and you reach the top, you see all the other mountains yet to conquer. And the metaphor is that this is our second book, and there are so many stories that we need to tell as we are going to impact on the other 20 odd thousand schools that is in need of our love and our care and our compassion. And if I may then come back to the chapter 4, and I believe the cornerstone, there was no input in the quote you use for chapter 4, but it's in the cornerstone for how I base my life, and that is that according to Colin Hall, relationships are all that we have. And chapter 4 opens up with relationships are based on 4 principles: respect, understanding, acceptance, and appreciation. And that is a quote from Mahatma Gandhi. And I believe that is what, for me, the PFP program stands for. We need to build solid relationships. We need to heal a broken country. And this pandemic is not doing us any favors. And this is the time when we need to be more kind, more empathetic, more caring, and more loving with one another, because we are all in need of each other. And so, if I may reflect on chapter 4 and the Kannemeyer story, I'd like to say that the Kannemeyer story and my story is inextricably linked. The journey 10 years ago as my coach, our very first learning process facilitator, vivacious Veronica Vandenaar, used to refer me as reticent. You use the word shy. At that time, I was at sea, struggling with a school, disadvantaged, under-resourced school, didn't have a voice, didn't have a purpose. lost and lacked in confidence. And so through the program, I was able to meet wonderful people, one of which my muse, my hero, Professor Brian O'Connell, which he says that being the leader of a disadvantaged, under-resourced school in South Africa is one of the most difficult tasks that any principal or headmaster faces in this country. And being aware that it is through education that we will change the lives of so many children, according to Madeba, that our roles as schools and school principals and teachers is critical in building the South African fabric. And if you have a school principal with no confidence, no vision, you are just taking that school further and further down. But once I experienced time to think, flawless consulting, community building, and being privileged through meeting many, many South Africans, I found my voice, I found my passion, and I found my purpose. And once I found my purpose and my passion, things started happening at the school. We were then able to brand the school like we were able to brand PfP. We were able to form beautiful networks. And today, from being a former school denigrated to be delivering gutter education, we have improved the resources at the school. We have a brand new library partnered with the bookery. We have a reading adventure room, a lab for language for grade ones, where we have partnered with Living Through Learning, sponsored by the Coronation Fund. We have a fantastic science lab in a partnership with University of Western Cape. We have been granted a brand new fence by the Education Department, and since then, we've had spate of burglaries. Touch wood, at the moment, we've not had any burglaries since this brand new fence has been erected at our school. We have a beautiful KPS Hall of Hearts where the community meets and we deliberate on the well-being of our children. We have a beautiful school hall. And through this 10 years, these are the things that we've been able through a principal and a team no longer disconnected, but working in synergy. And it started on a beautiful Saturday, unheard of, where Dr. Louise decided, let's have a vision for the school. Not a vision, but a visioning meeting where we can discuss what is the vision and the mission of the school. And the late Auntie Denise came up with this beautiful phrase, we want to be the school of choice. And I think if you have a vision of we want to be a school of choice, it ties in so beautiful with the possibility that it brings. And today I can say that we have moved towards being the school of choice in the area. So apart from the staff, we've had our very first historic Mandela Day on the 17th of July, a day before the late president's birthday, where we had about 100 people gathering, parents, learners, former teachers, former learners, community members, having a conversation about the future and the well-being of Kanemaya's children. And that opened up the floodgates for parents to say that we want to be part of the solution. We want to assist you in building a better school and a better community. Yes, we're not 100% there, and we will always have struggles. But today, the school is in demand. Our classes are full to the brim. We have over 40 children per class, and we cannot cope with the class sizes that we have. So, in short, we have moved from the school. In my early days before I met Louise, we had political running battles, disunities, serious challenges at the school, where we can now claim to be a school with greater organizational health. We have a team, I call them as per Ben's under the A team. And when you give a person an A, he or she is going to step into that A. And with that, we can now say over the years that our systemic results, yes, we've not reached the magical 100%, but the last years we've been averaging over 80% in grade 3 and grade 6. We are at the forefront of the reading revolution that we want to conscientize South Africans about, because the pearls and the Tims shows that 8 out of 10 grade 4s cannot read with understanding. We have huge challenges, and so we need to do our bit to get our children reading. And it is the task of each and every adult to do just that. And we are a school that leads with character transformation. We have a value system because we firmly believe that the greatest gift an adult can gift a child is a quality, holistic education and sound character. And Shana will know about the brokenness in our communities because there's a lack of morals and values. And that is what we as schools need to do to bring it back and to rebuild the fabric of society. So I can quite clearly say that we are the school of choice. And what we have further done is that every Friday since lockdown, we are feeding about 200 families with a soup or a biryani meal on a Friday. The homeless people, if I may want to better word, they come here because they look forward to that one meal. I personally have tremendously changed in that sense. I am now an accredited time to think coach and accredited time to think facilitator, and I am now a blogger as well. And so when I retire, which is I don't know when soon, I would like to take the time to think environment into our schools and into our organization because I believe Nancy Klein has given us the greatest gift, a gift to humanity, because she says the quality of our actions is dependent on the quality of the thinking we do first. And I believe that it is my assumption that there's very little quality thinking happening in our organizations. We need to pause and we need to reflect because money is scarce and we need to ponder where every cent is going to go. And it needs quality thinking. And with that, I thank you.